Okay, so let's think about the next question. And again, same thing where like I would never give you this with a pi, okay? We're not gonna do that. We'll just have everything be in degrees. Okay, so it's telling me that AC is 68 over 15 pi, but the idea or concept is the same. So I'm just gonna kind of teach you the actual problem because you can handle this. Okay, so if the arc length is 68 over 15 pi, right? The arc length is some fraction of the circumference. So what is the circumference? Well, the radius is 12 and the circumference is 2 pi r. So the circumference is 24 pi, right? So here's how I think about it. What percentage of this arc length from A to C is this of the entire circle? So it's annoying to deal with pi, right? So I just like put this in my calculator as a decimal. So 68 over 15 pi is 14.24. So think about it like, and also 24 pi, right, is 75.39, give or take. So I traveled from A to C 14.24 out of a possible 75.39 that I could have gone around the whole circle. This is the entire circle, right, the circumference, the distance around the entire circle. This is just the distance AC, right? So if I think about this in percentage terms, and I put this in my calculator, I'm basically traveling roughly 19%, right? So the distance I go from A to C is 19%. And if I think about that, right, and I think about this angle, I can actually calculate how far this angle has opened up. If this distance is roughly 19% of my journey all the way around, it's also reasonable to assume that this angle measured roughly 19%. Well, 19% of what? Well, if I opened up the entire angle, I would go 360, right? So the way I think about this is, what is 19% of 360 degrees? Because that can tell me how many degrees this angle is. So if you put this in your calculator and say 19% of 360, 0.19 times 360, you get 68.4 degrees. So I can infer that this angle here, which is a central angle, is 68.4 degrees. Then I can infer this arc measure is 68.4 degrees, okay? And then I can work backwards and say, wait a minute, if this arc measure is 68.4 degrees, the inscribed angle is going to be half that, right? So that's going to be 34.2 degrees, roughly, give or take, depending on how I round. So I hope that's helpful. Understanding that arc length is a percentage of the circumference helps you find the arc measure, the arc central angle, and therefore the inscribed angle. So hopefully that was helpful. Please don't hesitate to ask me more questions. These are excellent questions. These are probably a little bit harder than what I would give you on a quiz or test. So if you understand this, you'll be really, really good to go when we do some easier problems.